Hey everybody, welcome back to the 30 Minutes of Fame podcast. I'm Dave, and today I'm joined by another amazing guest who I met through my connection with Denny from the Outlaw to Salvation. There seems to be a lot of great things coming from that one episode. Jory is a Christian singer in Missouri, and welcome to my show, man. You're incredibly talented. Your words are powerful.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So
It's an
glad
honor
you
to
come
be
on
here.
with me. Um, How long have you been singing? Were you always singing Christian music? Something
No,
change your,
no, I grew up in church my whole life. My parents were still kids when they had me. So my mom was like at the end of high school, so they were still trying to figure out life. So my great grandmother was the one that raised me till I was about 10, and my dad lived with her, and she took me to church from day one. You know, the church was actually just across the alleyway, a little one room church, probably built in the 1800s. I was probably the only person under the age of 70. I used to joke say I was the youth group.
yeah.
Um, and But no, I grew up there, and music wise, I my great grandmother had a record player, and I just loved to sit in the living room with all these records and just play them over and over and over. And one of my favorites was it was called Andy Griffith Sings the Gospels. Not a lot of people know that Andy Griffith was a singer, but yeah, he had a gospel album, and I just loved that thing, and I would play it every day. And yeah, and so she got when my parents finally figured things out. My dad moved out, got married, and we started our life away from grandma. And my mom got saved, and so I started going to church with my mother. And after that, I was always around church, but wasn't really giving God any attention. Just kind of doing my own thing, and got into high school. And all my I have four parents, obviously, because step parents and everything, and all of them had like a different genre they listened to. My dad was like old Western outlaw country. My mom was, she was listening to old Hillsong. My stepdad was '80s metal, and
That's
my
me.
yeah, my stepmom was like hip hop and rap. So I was just really all those worlds were all around me all the time, and I just love music. And then when I was fourth grade, I got sent to a private school at a university, and the university band directors taught the music class for elementary,
Hmm.
and so I got a pretty hardcore music theory education at a very young age. And so when I moved to high school in a smaller town, I was kind of the first seat in band. Like I was just kind of ahead of everyone else and stuff. So just really loved music. And then when I was like 16, me and a couple buddies they call them air rocks. I don't know if that's a thing where you're from. Air rocks are like you're lip syncing,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
do like a performance. And so it was my sophomore year. I've been 10th grade, and we did a fake Kiss concert. And so I was Gene Simmons. We had taken these football pads, sprayed them black, and put aluminum foil spikes on them. We did the whole paint, platform boots, everything, and I don't know what it was about that moment, but I switched. I was like, man, I kind of like this rock star idea. So I was like, I want to kind of do this now. And I had just gotten my first guitar. And so me and the guy who was in the group, he was also a guitarist. So we decided, let's start a band. And this was like when I was 16. And so all of a sudden the dream was set, man. I was going to be a rock star. I was going to go make it. I was going to be famous. That was my passion now. And like, there was nothing that was like I wouldn't sacrifice for this dream, like any relationship, anything. Everything was worth it. And so I was working so hard. First band, and we played, and we couldn't write stuff though. We could play covers. But if we wrote anything, it was just lame. Like I was almost embarrassed to sing it at a gig. I was like, this is just horrible. And then so about a year into that, just I think because of my Christian upbringing, I saw which way the guys wanted to go with the band, and I just wasn't 100% on board with the whole rock star life, just because I think it was just because of my grandma's influence on my life. But it doesn't mean I wasn't a heathen in my own right. But um, I was kind of getting burnt out with them. I didn't feel like we were going to make it because we couldn't write songs. So then I got connected with my cousin, and my cousin was just a very skilled guitar player. He was like two younger, so he was like 14 or something like that, but he was phenomenal. And so I was like, hey, he could help me go somewhere. So I broke up with the first band, got with him, and we started building a band together. And man, we were solid. We had four guys with a drummer and a bassist and two guitarists, and man, we were good. Like we could play. I always joke that we could play a cover better than the original band. I mean, we were really good. And my dream was though, I wanted to make it. I wanted the record label. I wanted the awards. I wanted the touring. I wanted all that. And couldn't write songs though. I just couldn't, put anything down that was our own. I was like, we're not going to make it doing cover songs, And well, we went down to a battle of the bands, and about this time in my life, it was my senior year of high school. God had really started work on my life, and had an encounter with the Lord, and it changed my life forever. Jesus came in and just broke addictions in my life, secret things that were going on in my life, just got free and just fell in love with God. And I was like, man, God, I'm yours. And everything changed. And so I went into my senior year of high school, a whole different person. I was wearing this ugly yellow shirt that said Jesus freak on it. I wanted everyone to know, like, I'm a Christian, and I could take my Bible to school and stuff. But the only thing that hadn't changed was I still wanted to be a rock star. I still wanted to make it in the music business. And so we were still playing, and we went to a battle of the bands, and we rocked it at this battle of the bands. Well, while we were packing up, this man approached me, and he was like, hey, I'm a manager for my son's band. They're getting ready to get signed, getting ready to go do a bunch of concerts, record and everything. And he said, I can't stand his bass player. Would you become the bass player? So it became this big legit thing. Like my family, my parents, because I was still in high school, my parents had to drive down to Kansas City and be a part of this big meeting about, like, what this is going to cost, like what it's going to mean, like time wise, like, if I'm not in school, I'm doing gigs and stuff. And I was like, here it is, I'm there, and this is back in 2007, and how'd it go? It was I went to the first rehearsal, and took my bass in there, unpacked. We started playing. Man, we sounded good. Man, there was some talent here, and I was like, all of a sudden I realized I'm at the threshold of my dream. Going out of high school, like, here it is. I'm here. This is it. It's finally here, and it was so weird. Like, after these 2 to 3 years of me sacrificing anything to get to this dream, here I am at the dream, and all of a sudden it's like I don't want it anymore. Like, I'm playing with these guys, and there's no fire, there's no passion, and I'm just like, why do I feel this way? And all of a sudden I was like, this is not what God's called me to do. And I just felt my heart like, go home. And I was like, I think that's the right thing. And so I packed up my bass, started walking out the door, and I remember the manager saying, well, we'll see you soon. And I didn't even say anything, but I was just thinking, you'll probably never see me again. And got in my car, and this was back in 2007, and I just started driving 2 hours back to my house, and I just said, God, my guitar is yours. I don't want to do my thing. I want to do yours. And it was like the songwriting just took off right after that, and that's been ever since.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, it's funny. You just mentioned Kiss and the airband thing. I remember my parents used to run a Christian band camp back in Newfoundland,
Okay.
and they used to make me go every year, and every year I'd pick a different instrument. And this one year I picked the trombone, and I remember getting in trouble because I taught my little crew there, 5 of us, 2 o'clock in the morning, how to play "Heaven's on Fire" by Kiss
Yeah.
on the trombone, right?
That's wow.
So if you
That's
can
rock
picture
star
a
right there.
trombone sound, so my father got so mad when I got home, he took away my Motley Crue "Shout at the Devil" cassette
Mm-hmm.
and replaced it with Striper, "To Hell with the Devil."
Yep.
And it's like, here, listen to this for a few days. And man, then came "Soldiers Under Command," and it kind of stuck with me a bit. I mean, I did see Motley Crue 19 times in concert.
Yep.
I did get to meet Kiss a couple times here in Calgary, but I really want to get Michael Sweet on the show. Stryper's got a new album coming out.
I
But
heard that they were
but
doing
man, you
some.
just reminded me of that trombone story. And then my dad
That's funny. I would love to hear a rendition of "Heaven's on Fire" on the trombone.
you know what? I'm YouTubing it as soon as we're done here to see if anyone else has done it. Because
That's funny.
it was something else. It didn't sound that bad, but then it turned into the Muppets because that was all I knew how to play.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to me and my girlfriend have been listening to a lot of your music and a lot of the words. Man, some of them hit me like a ton of bricks. And I copied down some lyrics from your new song, "You Were There," this morning.
Sure.
And because 4 lines in that song, it hit me. It's gonna hit a lot of people because I have a lot of people on here that are in recovery, a lot of listeners that are part of the recovery movement. But I'm just gonna read out these 4 lines. And when I look back at this broken road, all the times I walked alone, your mercy was all over my life. You were there.
Mm.
Dude, man, like I drank. I was a wicked alcoholic for like almost 30 years. I blew up to 400 pounds. I was just nobody knew I was. And then in 2010, what hit me with this song in 2010, I was on a balcony in downtown Calgary, and I was about 9 pitchers of beer in that night, and I got home alone at about quarter to two. I was on the 14th floor of a downtown, pretty busy city. Calgary's about 1 million people, but it never stops at night down there. So I'm just staring down at the traffic, and I'm like, would anyone even give a shit if I leaped off here? And then I look back at those lyrics, you were there. So something, it was almost like something grabbed my shoulder and pulled me into my apartment. I passed out on my bedroom, on my living room floor the next morning. I woke up, I had half a eaten hamburger in my hand.
Mm.
And everything now with this podcast, my daughter, my girlfriend, all the charity stuff, I wouldn't have all this if he wasn't there. So that song really hit me, man, like a ton of bricks.
Come on. Yeah, it's the newest song we've written. Well, I wouldn't say it's the newest. We wrote it early 2026, and I was just, yeah, just sitting there, just contemplating, looking back on my life, because I didn't really, my life didn't get right with God until I was 18. But as I look back on my life, just all those years before 18, even just like started seeing these fingerprints of God in my life, the mercy, when it's like I shouldn't be breathing today. I shouldn't be, it's like I should be in a whole different place. And even I just, my heart behind it when we wrote it was like, I think anyone can relate to this, and even like my heart is that the atheist, the person that right now doesn't acknowledge God at all, like, it's like that's what the song is. There's a part in the song where I even talk about that. It's like, I didn't see you, I didn't acknowledge you, but you were there, and that's why I love the scripture where Jesus is telling us to love our enemies, because it says, then you'll be like your Father in heaven who loves his enemies. He's good to the ungrateful, and so like I look back on my life in those times where I wasn't grateful, I wasn't acknowledging him. He was still pouring out such amazing blessing on my life and grace, and he didn't need to. I didn't earn it. I didn't deserve it, and that's just what makes me excited to sing about him.
Beautiful. Yeah, if you don't, I know you're gonna play a song or two here with us. Would you mind playing that one?
I'll try.
And
It's my I have to get my words out. There's some of them I have to. They're so fresh. I have to remember how to sing them. So,
or
but yeah,
or play whatever you like, and I'll
so
definitely gonna
we'll
put
take
all your links in the description as
we'll
well.
take a stab at it for sure. Yeah.
But
One thing I love about my like so for that song for me, the part that really hits me, like every song I write, there's a part like in every song that I'm like, man, that's the words that really meant the whole song for me. And it was in the second chorus, it says, "You were there in the places that I chose to hide,
mm,
and you were there in the darkest corners of my life. God, you were there, and you saw the depths of my soul. Still, you loved me, and you saw wherever I'd go, yet you called me." And I don't
wow,
know this for me. It's like I don't deserve this life. I don't deserve all this blessing. But man, He is just so good, and I just want other
wow.
people to know that. So
So I was just trying to find the other song I had copied on here, but it seemed to escape my screen. But everything I've listened to has just been so powerful. You're so talented. But I gotta ask, I met you obviously through my past guest, Danny.
mhm.
How did you cross paths with him? And let's talk about the event you guys got coming up too.
Sure, sure. So I've been writing, like I said, I've been writing for the Lord since about 2007, 2008, and wrote a lot of songs. But it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that my wife really was just like, "You got to go in all 100% on this," and so we chose to. And then so about June of last year, we started doing these TikTok lives.
Mm,
And I just literally, it was fun. It was really just to promote an album like in September that came out last September. And we were just going to play our songs like, hey, I want to be out in September, come check it out. And what God did there was just phenomenal. Just the people I met, like they're still with us, like they're on a group chat right now, and stuff. And like, just, we call them family. We don't call them fans. And they're just so involved and just so passionate about what God's doing with this music. And so so after September hit, we were like, let's just keep doing it. Let's just keep playing. Let's just keep sharing the gospel. And we Denny, at some point, Denny got on. He was on the For You page, and my live stream popped up, and he got on and he started listening. I think it was "Lay It Down" was the song that, and it is, I think, because that's what his event's going to be called, is "Lay It Down." And he just that he fell in love with that song, and that song meant a lot to him, and so he has a passionate for sharing the gospel. And so he reached out to me. He said, "Hey man, what would it take to get you up here and stuff?" And I said, "Well, we have like a little PDF we send out to people who ask and stuff. Just tells kind of who we are and how we do things." And so he sent it to his pastor. His pastor listened to the music. He goes, "Hey, that's all right." And his pastor called me and he's like, "Hey, how can we get you up here?" And I was like, "Well, here you go." And he's like, "All right, well, we worked out all the logistics." And so we set up, it was going to be May 16th. We're going to be up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Denny's kind of running the whole thing. He said, "You're going to go up there and play your songs and I'll be a part of it. And we're just going to share the love of Christ with people." So yeah.
Beautiful. I'm gonna get that link because I know you said the church is going to be streaming it. So if anyone that watches this episode or Denny or Lorenzo, you guys are all connected. And yeah, I'll put the stream in there. We'll be in there for sure. But people talk about sometimes how evil TikTok and Twitter are. That's the two things I hear the most. But so I used to host a live every Sunday called Mental Health and Open Mic. So people could come in, just talk about PTSD and stuff, or just sing. And I did about 21 of those, 21 weeks.
Yeah.
And there was a woman that came in that she got up and sang, but she kept her camera off because she didn't like the way she looked.
Mm.
And her voice was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So then week 3, okay, she got up again to sing. She put her camera on the talk, but turned it off to sing. By week 6, both the cameras were on the whole time.
Yeah.
Just before the last one that we did, she says, "Okay, you guys, I'm volunteered to lead the worship at my church."
That's awesome.
Like to go from being afraid to showing your face to playing the piano and helping lead worship at our church because of that little live. It's
Yeah.
stuff like that, man. It's like, I don't
You
care if these episodes get 10 plays or 1,000, but it's stuff like that that means the most, right?
You know, I've never really done live streams, and like I said, my wife kind of points, why don't you do these live streams?" And I wasn't even going to get a TikTok. I didn't have a TikTok account. I had Facebooks, all the others, but I was like, like you were saying, you'd be like, "It's evil. Don't get on TikTok." So I was like, and I wasn't like afraid of it. I was just like, yeah, I don't need one. I've got enough social media platforms. I'm not really worried about it. But one thing you'll know about if I share more about my testimony is one thing that changed me and my wife's life about 3 years ago was we became readers. We decided we were going to start. We what it was. We were in a really bad financial situation. Not we weren't. She didn't make any bad choices. I had, and so we were in some pretty bad debt. But then what really broke everything for us was when I realized I don't know how to use money. Like I don't know anything about money. No one taught me how to use money. And so I read a book by someone who knew how to use money, someone who's done very well with money, and it's a pretty popular book. But I read it and it just gave me like things I didn't know, very simple things. If I just changed this in my life and I changed this in my life and I started doing this habit, started bringing this habit in my life, just simple things. They didn't cost me a lot. They just changes with money. And within a year we were debt free. Like it
Wow.
was just phenomenal. And so what it broke in us was this like, there's a scripture where Paul tells us, look to your leaders, look to those who've went before you, look at the outcome of their life and imitate them. And I know that's a spiritual concept, but what for me is like, if I want to be a better parent, I want to find people that I see the fruit of good parenting, and I want to say, "Hey, teach me, mentor me. I want to be a good parent too." Hey, if finances, like I'm not going to go to a bunch of people that are struggling financially to get financial advice. If I'm going to go to people that have been successful financially, and whether it be marriage, whatever. If I find a marriage that I feel like is honoring God, and say, "Man, I want to get some tips from them." What's so great is there's millions of books written by these people, and so we started reading books, and so I started reading books on the music industry because I was really like, "God, where do you want me to go with this music?" And so I started reading like anything I get my hands on, whether it was like even a Christian book by a Christian or it was just someone in the music industry. And one of the biggest books I read was by a lawyer. It was a huge book, and it was very, very boring to read, but it was very informative. And but almost the reason I say this is because so many of these guys, and they were all from different spheres of music, they said TikTok is what you need to use if you're going to be doing music. And I was like, I've heard this from when you hear it more than once, you're like, okay, I feel like something's trying to get my attention here, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna start a TikTok account. So I did, and we started promoting our album "Lay It Down" and the song "Lay It Down." And man, what I think, gosh, it's been like 6 months since it was June, so we're looking at like maybe 8-9 months now. We're up to 17,000 followers on
Wow.
TikTok, and it's just been incredible. But you were saying about just the one, when we've one of the funnest things I love doing on these live streams is we get these trolls that jump on,
Oh yeah. Though.
and the thing is they don't phase me at all. But I remember when we first started doing this, there was a gentleman, he popped on, and he was very obnoxious, very rude, very hateful. I mean, just his comments were very, just, I mean, they were harsh. And one of the ladies, she comments, like, Jory, can you block him? Can you kick him off here? And I said, my songs are for him.
Yeah.
And more than once, we've had a troll that's now become family. They're part of the group. They get on
Wow.
all the time now. They love God. And it's just been, so I'm like, no, we don't. For one, it's like, I got brothers and sisters around the world that are suffering for the Lord, in very dangerous places. Like, if someone's going to be mean to me verbally, it doesn't bother me. I can take it, you know. And so we want them here. We don't ever kick them off. We don't ever say leave or block them. It's like, they may just keep throwing comments, but I'm like, guys, just love on them. Just love them. I was where they were at one point. They're just lost. There's a hurt. There's something missing, and we know what it is. And we want them to know that they're loved, and that, that there is hope, and so. Absolutely. So I'm definitely with you on that.
Second time you've made the hairs come up on my arms. So, I used to get a lot of trolls and they used to give me anxiety for days and days and days. And now I just laugh and respond to them. I'm like, hey, thanks for the engagement. Even though
I
I don't make anything anywhere. I'm like, hey, thanks. Have a great day.
We got one guy, he still gets on and he will stay on. And the funny is he'll stay on the whole hour. And I'm just like, that's hilarious. He just sits here and listens to Christian music for an hour, like, daily. And but he like, when I see him now, I see his username, and I'll give him a shout out. I'm like, I'm so glad you're here. And like, I mean it. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Like, I'm so glad you're here. And like, you can tell it throws him off. He's like, what? Why would you want me to be here?
My daughter, who's almost 12, always tells me, don't feed the trolls, Dad. That's all they want. It's just people
Yeah.
sometimes are just so miserable with their own lives.
Yeah.
They're only going to try and
And
bring
that's why
others down. There was a post I had put on Twitter X about the balcony story I told you, my rock bottom.
mm,
Okay, that thing had 89,000 likes and almost 400,000 impressions, and I only had one troll.
yeah.
This guy said, "Oh man, you should have did the world a favor and leaped off there."
Mm,
And I wrote back and I said, "Hey, I'll say a prayer for you."
yeah.
I never heard from him again. He was gone, but they just want, right?
Yeah, they're just, my perspective is like, I've tasted and seen that the Lord is good. And so, I remember, I think about Jesus on the cross when he said, he said, forgive them, Father, they don't know what they're doing. And that's kind of my perspective. It's like they're lost, and they're looking for hope, and they're just finding it in the wrong places. And so I don't want to be if I'm the only opportunity they're going to have to find that hope, I don't want to shut them out, so.
Seeing now, like you're a dad as well, right? You said,
Yep. Yeah. Five
yeah.
kids.
So what's that?
Five
Five?
kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So the way I look at it, when I get trolls, my daughter and my girlfriend are my noise canceling headphones for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I used to want to race my kid home when I was almost 400 pounds and I couldn't, her little face, man, I
Mm,
never want to see that again. And I never will because I'll never go back there.
yeah.
This year on my birthday, it'll be 4 years sober.
Praise God.
And I wake up every Sunday now without a hangover. I've gone 187 weekends without one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had like 4 beer in 3.5 years, like a social one. That's it. So I don't really call myself sober because everyone's like, "Nyeh, nyeh," right? But I don't care about anyone. I got no one to impress except myself, my daughter, and my girlfriend, and maybe my dog. But that's it, man. It's a whole different world. And
Yeah.
it's funny, since I had my first Christian related guest on, it seems that people they're just coming to me, and all these things are just coming together. Like things will pop up, like Denny. I'll
Yeah.
see the poster with you. Denny talks about Lorenzo, the tattoo artist, who's an upcoming episode. It's my best friend, my pastor, who always used to say to me, "There's a purpose. There's a reason you're starting this." And now I'm starting to see it.
Yeah.
Really, really starting to see it. I mean, I've had atheists on here. I don't care. I've had, vegans on here, but I love barbecue.
Yeah.
I put a post last night that, listen, I don't, someone said on Twitter, I follow too many mega people. And I'm like, listen, I don't care if you go to the Church of Fettuccine. I don't care what's in your pants. I don't care who's in your bed. If you're cool, respectful, and can have an open conversation with me, I'll follow anybody.
Mm.
And it's the same with this podcast. I mean, anyone can come on here with me. But this will always be on my neck. If someone's offended by it and they don't want to come on, then that's a whole different story.
Amen.
So you up for playing a tune?
I can play a tune. So I thought I'd play. We have a new one that's actually coming out probably in a couple months, and it's we actually premiered. I wrote it a week before our event we did in February, and we actually played it at the event. So it was only a week old when I played it, and man, the response was pretty strong, and so we were like, well, we better get this in the studio and get it recorded. So yeah,
beautiful. I'm gonna turn off my video and put you full screen, and
sure,
here we go.
Yeah, this one's called "Left It in the Water." Just give me a second here. Time and time again, I'm reminded who I am. A lost soul on the way to a bitter end. Yeah, time and time again, the Lord reminds me who I am. A child of God, served in the Savior's hand. And when the enemy comes looking for what belongs to him, the dead man's soul, the guilt and shame, and all my sin, I left it in the water, baptized in holy fire. The old has passed away, all things made new. You're looking at a free world, bought and paid in the Lamb's blood. So if you're looking for what the world's, this one thing's true. I left it in the water, left it in the water. And time again, I remember about when the mercy of the Lord came rushing in. And now I'm born again to a hope that has no end. There's no fear of condemnation where I stand. And when the enemy comes looking for what belongs to him, the dead man's soul, the guilt and shame, and all my sins, I left it in the water. I'm baptized in holy fire. The old has passed away, all things made new. You're looking at a free world, bought and paid in the Lamb's blood. So if you're looking for what the world's, this one thing's true. I left it in the water, left it in the water, left it in the water, left it in the water. And when the enemy comes looking for what belonged to him, the dead man's soul, the guilt and shame, and all my sin, I left it in the water, baptized in holy fire. The old has passed away, all things made new. You're looking at a free world, bought and paid in the Lamb's blood. So if you're looking for what the world's, this one thing's true. I left it in the water, left it in the water, left it in the water,
That's why I turned my video off. I don't like some of these songs hit me so hard. Oh, that was beautiful, man.
Yeah,
What's your biggest musical influence? I can hear like you might have listened to some Stain in your time, I think.
actually, no.
No? Oh,
I know of him,
yeah.
but I grew up, like I said, I think I'm definitely influenced by. My dad was very outlaw country growing up and stuff, so I think there's definitely an influence there. And then I think because of my grandma, I grew up on hymns. I think
Mm,
there's just a collaboration of that, but it's actually interesting because God used Leonard Skinner to actually get my attention.
well,
It was my senior high school. So, it was God was really working in my life at the time, and like I said, I was in this band. We couldn't write music, and I was kind of bored with all the stuff we were playing. I was like, even though I wanted to be a rock star, it was like the songs had no depth for me. Like I was like, and so I was in this art class senior year, and my teacher she asked, I don't know if you remember those old they were like magazines where you could buy like a bunch of CDs like real cheap. I can't remember what they were. Like my stepmom always got them in the mail, but you could like buy a ton of CDs real cheap. And anyway, my art teacher's like, well, there's only two of you in the class, so as long as you guys keep busy, I'll buy you guys some CDs you guys can listen to for the year. So I'm looking through the magazine, and I find this greatest hits of Leonard Skinner, and I'm like, I know that Sweet Home Alabama song. Maybe I'll listen to a little bit of them, and when I started listening to them, I fell in love with I'm a very musical guy. I love, like, I'm listening to the bass guitar, I'm listening to the snare drum, I'm listening to everything. I'm like, oh, that's so good, And of course, I'll be sitting next to them and they're like, yeah, it's okay. I'm like, no, you don't get what he's doing right there. That's talent, but then there was one song that really just made me pause in life, and it was Simple Man.
oh,
And first, for one, I knew what the song was about because he actually wrote it about his grandma.
hmm,
And he said that, it says, Mama told me when I was young. And my great grandmother was the first faith influence, first Christian influence in my life. She raised me until I was about 10. And so that song was connecting with me. But there was a line that just like was screamed at me from the song. And it was when he says, go find you a woman and you'll find love. But then he says, but don't forget there's someone up above.
mm,
And that was like the moment where I paused and realized, like, there is a God. And like, that was this journey that I began from that song. This journey began of me starting to think, okay, well, if there is a God, who is he? What's he like? And that was the beginning of it. It was actually Leonard Skinner that made me pause and start thinking about that reality. So,
wow.
yeah.
I love
So
that
that's,
song too, actually. I've done that one in my times at karaoke when I wasn't
yeah,
in the soberest state.
sure.
But I didn't have quite that moment at that time, but I certainly look at it now and think about it.
It was, I just, there's a simplicity that, well, I love the message is like, just be simple. I think the world's become so complicated, and it's just, everything's so overwhelming. And just, the Ronnie Van Zant was just, hey, just be a simple man. Just be simple.
Beautiful. Are you up for playing one more song?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
Let me try it. I think we can knock out You Were There. Hallelujah. All right, let's do it. Guess I better turn the guitar on. That'd help, huh? When I look back on this broken road, all the times I thought I walked alone, but your mercy was all over my life. And when I think about all the coincidence, there was nothing that was left to chance, but your grace was all over my life. And I see it now, the work of your hands. Yeah, I see it now, the footprints in the sand. You were there when my bones were fashioned in the womb. You were there when I cried out in the birthing room. You were there, God, you were always there. You were there in my struggle, my troubles, my pride. You were there in every heartbreak, in every lie. You were there. God, you were always there. And all those strangers you sent along my path, spoke a word, touched my hurt, give a helping hand. All those angels you sent into my life. Oh, I see it now, your love is breaking through. Oh, I see it now, everything points to you. You were there in the morning, in the evening and night. You were there in every season, in every mile. You were there. God, you were always there. You were there in the places where I chose to hide. You were there in the darkest corners of my life. You were there. God, you were always there. And you saw the depths of my soul. Still love me, and you saw wherever I go. Still call me. I'm not afraid where this road might take me, 'cause I know the one who never fails. You were there when I finally called on your name. You were there to wipe away the tears and the shame. You were there. God, you were always there. You were there in the valley, in the mountains so high. You were there in every moment of my life. You were there. God, you were always there. You saw the depths of my soul. Still love me, and you saw wherever I go. Still call me. I'm not afraid where this road might take me, 'cause I know the one who never fails. You were there. Oh, you were there. Lord, you were there. God, you were always there.
Yes. Oh, and you were worried about trying to sing that. My goodness.
Well, so on a songwriting, this is kind of a rule they tell you about songwriting, is like, it doesn't happen very often, but a lot of times the chorus should always be the same, and these all three choruses are actually different. And so I've always kind of struggled with songs like that, because like the words are different, so you have to like, okay, so, but no, it's all right.
Beautiful. All right, man. I got one more question and then we'll call this a show. But everyone, send me all your links. I'll put them in the description.
Sure.
I'm gonna put the link to the church where you and Danny are doing the event.
Yeah,
And
sure.
if people can't make it, they can watch it. I'll be popping in there for sure. But I appreciate you coming on with me. You're freaking amazing. I love your story and your music and your words. It's incredible. It's gonna reach a lot of people, I think.
I appreciate you giving this opportunity. It's been great to meet you.
And your hat it is well in with my soul. Okay, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Shout out to Steven. He's one of the guys that follows us. He's like, I need knit as well hat. So we got one.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, man. This is how I end all my episodes, but a 100-meter pigeon carrying contest. How many pigeons could you carry 100 meters and still have in your arms at the end of it?
You know, it's funny. I watched when you gave me the link to one of your shows, I saw that question. I was like, all right. So, and then I thought, all I have to say, and of course, I don't know when he did that one, because he had the record. I said, if I say 15, I should be good then. I should be the winner, but I don't know if there's been more since then.
I think my highest is 150, but
Wow.
it was a
Well,
lady that said she was going to do double-sided duct tape and bird seed and just all kinds of.
so the
She
rule
was
is
ready for it.
they don't have to be alive at the end of this.
No, you're going to get me canceled by PETA, but I don't. Maybe they
Right.
are.
Okay. Well, okay. So say the whole question one more time.
So just a 100-meter pigeon carrying contest.
Okay.
How many could you fit in your arms? You can use your guitar if you want, whatever
Okay. All
devices
right.
you need.
Okay.
But how many could you still have in your arms at the end of the race?
Well, they're pretty flexible, so I could probably shove quite a few in this guitar. Must say I can get about 25 in my guitar, and then if I'm holding my guitar with the strap, I can get about 20 more. I'm gonna say we can get about, I'm gonna say 50.
That'll put you in a solid second place, man. That's the lowest is zero. I had a local news broadcaster on who has a phobia of Canadian geese and pigeons, so she
Okay.
wouldn't even touch the question. But
That's funny.
and then my singing Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonator, he was sick. He did the whole episode in a Schwarzenegger voice.
Wow.
It
All
was
right.
incredible. So his answer was like, "Oh, Arnold." It was just amazing. I don't remember what he said, but I had to go back and look.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, thanks for coming with me. Thanks for sharing your story, your music,
It's an
and
honor.
yeah, go check out all Jory's social medias. Maybe if he's still doing the lives, we'll pop into one of those. And
We get on 6 a.m. Monday through Friday Central Standard Time, and we've started doing YouTube 8:45 Central Standard Time in the evening, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So
beautiful. I'll fire me that link as well. I'll put it in the description, and I'll join you with my guitar as well one night.
we'll do. Sounds good. Take
All
care,
right,
bud.
everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that cool stuff my daughter tells me to say. And just say one nice thing to one person every day for this year, and you can change someone's life just with a little bit of kindness.
Come on.